If I were to start a chicken farm in 2025, this is what I would do. Hello farmers, welcome back to my channel. This is Sheikh My Love, and we now have a new video on my lifestyle channel. So kindly check on it and subscribe. Anyways, today we are here to talk about things that I would do if I were to start chicken farm or chicken farming in 2025. Now, here on this channel, we do talk about chicken farming, specifically layers. We've not started doing broilers and other types, so we are doing only layers right now, and we're also doing a maize farming. I have a video that is coming soon about maize farming, and yeah, to give you an update about my maize, the previous one that we planted. We have a video here. It is really doing well, and this season I expect to yield more than the other season. Anyways, these are other things that I would do differently if I were to start HKM farm in 2025. Number one, harvesting in quality chickens or quality chicks. Now these chicks are day one, but look at how good they are. Now when I was starting, we made a mistake, and because we didn't have enough money, we thought we didn't have enough money, we opted for cheaper birds, local birds from Uganda, and guess what, we really made losses. First of all, it took them so long to grow up. We reached at 3 months and they were looking like they were 2 months. They were like everything was off. Now when we started giving them growers, I'm talking about the feed. When we started giving them grower feed after pallets, it took us a long time and we spent a lot of money because we had actually to give them boosters, we had to give them calcium, lots and lots of it. We had to give them proteins on top of the feed that we were mixing. So it was really bad. But look at these ones. These ones were just 2 weeks. Actually, this was the second week, and look at how they look like. They are all healthy and they look strong and big. Actually, right now they are laying. Anyways, that is number one. I would invest in quality chicks. I don't mind if I get like 50 birds or 100 birds, but I would invest in quality birds or quality breed, rather than bringing a lot and lot of birds when we're going to make losses. Now, the first birds that we bought, they took so long to lay eggs. And then even when they started laying eggs, it took like two months for them to stabilize, all of them to start laying, and then the eggs were very tiny. So people were buying them, or they were buying eggs as starter, yet it was 2 months ever since they started laying. So yeah, saving and being stingy on your farm actually can cost you a lot in the long run. The second thing that I would do different if I were to start a chicken farm in 2025 is never to employ experienced workers. Now we opted for one experienced worker, and guess what happened? Now this person, he was really good, he was okay, depending on what they told us. So we got someone, and because we didn't know a lot, we opted for someone, and it came out like, in the long run we realized that actually he was doing things differently from how we were directed to do things. So he used to like think for us. He used to almost lead us in everything and control us. So we could tell this guy to do something different, he could do something different because that's what he knew, and he was a grown up personnel. So we couldn't order him, we couldn't do it, but in the long run it really costed us. So if at least if you're getting an experienced worker, they shouldn't be permanent workers. Maybe omuntu ajja once a day naddayo or for some hours and then they go back, not a permanent staff. Okay, another thing Another thing that I'll do different if I were to start a chicken farm in 2025 is invest in good feed. Now, I know feeds, like I know chicken feeds are so expensive. The feed is so expensive. Even now, those people who are doing chicken farming, one of the reasons as to why they are giving up, most of them are giving up, but I'm not here to give up. Okay, I would invest in chicken feed. Now, a lot of farmers actually they make this mistake when the feeds go high, they reduce the amount of food that they feed the birds. How is it going to affect your birds? For example, if they have started laying, they are going to cut the eggs. So it means you're not going to get the eggs, the amount of eggs that you have to get on a daily. Okay, and then some people, when the feeds go high, or the prices go high, they tend to reduce the amount of nutrients, calcium, proteins that they mix in the what? In the feeds, which is very, very bad. So however much the feed goes high, like the price of the feed goes high, you have to stay. You have to stick to the plan of feeding, giving your birds quality feeds and then of course enough food, because if you don't, of course they will get malnourished. If you don't, they will slow in the growth, and then it means you're not going to get the eggs in the right time that you have to get them or harvest or yield. So that is one of the things that I'll do differently. Now another thing that I'll do different, when if I were to start a chicken farm in 2025, is making sure I have enough money before my first batch. Oh good. Guys, in chicken farming you cannot gamble. Our birds need food on time. You cannot say they will eat in the evening, they will eat tomorrow, they will eat after 2 days. You need the money to be there. You need a cash flow. You need a business that is going to be providing you with money. If not, you have to be with all the money that you need to use or to spend during the first 4 months, from day one to when they start laying eggs. And when they start laying eggs, they are not all going to lay eggs at once. If you have like 200 birds, it means the first week they start laying, you can get like one egg or two. Then the second week you can get like 20 a day. They will not lay eggs at once. They're not going to start laying eggs on the first day and then tomorrow all the 200 birds are giving you the eggs. So it means you have to be with the money to feed these birds, to treat them, to like everything. You have to be ready. So before you bring your first batch, make sure you have enough money to look after these birds from day one to maybe up to uh, the fifth month when they start laying, and then they stabilize. Because even after when they start laying, of course you're not going to yield anything, like you're not going to yield much in the first month of them starting to lay eggs, because that is going to be starter. So it means if we're selling the tray at 10,000 or 11,000, they are going to buy starter at 7,000 or 7,500 or 8,000. So you have to know that. So that is something that I'll do different, not bringing birds without having enough funds. Okay. um Another thing that I would do different if I were to start a chicken farm in 2025 is to make research. Oh my God, there's so many things to learn in this field. You have lots and lots of things to learn, from the feeds, from the type of like from the breeds, the feeds, the proteins, the nutrients, the type of calciums you have to get, the vitamins, the signs and symptoms of the diseases, the stress, like everything. You have to learn a lot. So if we're a person who doesn't like learning, if we're a person who doesn't have time to do your research, to sit and read, to listen, trust me, you're going to make losses. And this is something that we did not actually look into before we started. At our first batch, of course, I was studying, I was learning a lot, and I was making inquiries and consultations as I was also doing my individual studying or learning. But when we started, we actually realized that I have information. So that is half baked information. You have to be keen and you have to really, really love reading, because in reading you have to compare different articles, you have to compare different videos, you have to compare different books to come to a conclusion and then maybe have one strong solution for your birds. So if I were to start chicken farming in 2025, of course, I would invest in research. I would invest in knowledge. I would invest in learning a lot, as much as possible when it comes to chicken farming. Now, another thing that I would do different when another thing that I would do different if I were to start a chicken farm in 2025 is to have time for my farm. Now, a lot of farms have closed down just because the owners, not because the owner don't have money, but it's because they are making losses. How are they making losses? They even don't know that they are making losses out of the, like, they are absent. They don't know that their absence is making them make losses. Every time you're not on your farm, a lot can go wrong. Every time you're not engaging with the birds, with picking the eggs, with feeding the birds, with mixing the feed, with maybe identifying the like monitoring the birds, you're going to make losses. How? A worker or a staff is not going to have that heart. A worker or a staff doesn't know where you're getting that money from. They don't know how you've struggled to get 20 millions just to maybe to take care of 500 or 600 birds. They're just going to come. Their aim is to get money at the end of the month. So if the bird is sick, of course, if the bird has got, like, if the birds have got coccidiosis, it is easy to be identified. But if the staff is the only, like, if you're not around and you only leave your staff to be on the farm, it will be hard for them to be keen and identify those things, and maybe identify or maybe inquire whether the birds have been vaccinated against Merrick or against coccidiosis, about or against other diseases. They will not take in count, or they will not be responsible enough to know the signs and symptoms of every dangerous disease. When it attacks your farm, of course, for them they are gaining somehow, because you're going to sell those birds at a cheaper price, and they will be one of those people who are going to gain from that. Another thing, if you're out, if you don't have time for your farm, of course you're not going to know how much feed like how much feed costs. You're not going to know how much calcium has been mixed. You're not going to know how much protein has been put in the feeds. You're not going to know how many kilograms they have bought or they are using in a week. So you're going to just be saving money. In the long run, you're not going to be getting anything out of it, because you don't know how these things are ran. Someone, you're going to send 1M to buy feed for 2 days, and then, or for 1 week, and then someone sends you a message after two days, bagambe mere with you. But just because you weren't on a farm, you don't know how many kilograms they bought. Just because you're not on the farm, you don't know how many eggs they picked a day. You don't know how many eggs you must have or you must pick out of 500 birds. So you have to be keen. So that is something that I'll do different. I would create time for myself and for my birds for my farm, to monitor and learn these things, because staff only is not enough. You need to be there because you're the one putting in money, and you know how much you want this farm to grow. I know how much I want this farm to grow in a certain period of time. For the staff, they know how much they want to get in a month. So I hope that makes sense. Another thing that I would do different if I had to start a chicken farm in 2025 is to stop listening to other established, like well established farmers. Guys, you're not supposed to take each and every advice you get from people. For example, someone comes here and they're like, oh, chicken farming is not easy, it is so expensive, when they are expanding each and every day, you know. So I would really listen less when it comes to negative things from established chicken farmers. So I want this video to stop here. I don't want it to be so long, but I also wanted to wish you a happy new year and happy new month. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for watching. Bye.